First story to tackle. It is a pretty big one, and it is going to be basically shifting a lot of things within the anime industry, because in case you don't know, the massive juggernaut known as Netflix has become very big in the anime space. It's kind of crazy to think that 10 years ago Netflix wasn't even a thing when it comes to the anime community, when it comes to watching anime. Nobody 10 years ago was thinking, oh dog, I gotta watch the latest so-and-so on Netflix. Yet fast forward a decade later, and here we are. It is a monster. It has so many titles, and it is one of the last things standing, stopping Sony from going wild and completely out of control with the acquisitions and just in general creating a monopoly. We know that Sony, they've been gobbling up a lot of the Western distributors over here. They took Funimation, they got Crunchyroll. They've been making major moves, and yeah, Netflix has been one of the last lines of defense. However, Netflix recently has come under fire with NHK. NHK is a broadcast over there in Japan. It is a broadcasting station, and they're massively popular and have a lot of titles under their belt. So much so, a lot of anime that, yeah, they recently got into it with Netflix over decisions that Netflix has been making. Y'all know, in case you don't, that Netflix loves to play around when it comes to that money, how they're gonna make that money, increasing prices, all of that stuff. But this one in particular kind of upset NHK. We spoke about a week or so ago that Netflix was going to be utilizing, and they're starting to unroll in certain areas of the world, their new subscription model, where basically there will be ads, but you could pay a little bit less to get a Netflix subscription. And a lot of people, including myself, were kind of like, is that really gonna work? Also, does anybody really want ads when you're on a Netflix or anything like that? So a lot of different quirks to work out, but it seems as though NHK don't even want to give Netflix the time of day to try and work it out, because they're demanding that 22 of their titles are removed from Netflix, thanks to Netflix implementing this new ad subscription service. Let's take a look and see what's going on. But yeah, this is not good. This could rattle up the whole industry as a whole, again considering Netflix is one of the last lines of defense before a monopoly comes into play. Let's read. Okay, before we get into this episode, make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit that bell to get notified. We drop new episodes of Forever News every Saturday, 12 p.m. EST, and throughout the week we re-upload those segments for your viewing pleasure. Hit them buttons. Let's get into the news. NHK asks Netflix to remove its titles due to ad-supported subscriptions. The Japan Times reported on Thursday that NHK has asked Netflix to suspend distribution of all of its 22 titles after Netflix's launch of its new advertisement-supported subscription tier. Netflix removed advertisements for NHK programming on Wednesday and continues to stream the titles. According to the Japan Times, Netflix made a statement saying NHK had previously agreed to ad-supported streaming. NHK complained that the ad-supported service was not what it had assumed it would be, and that Netflix did not explain the service to NHK until just before the service launched. NHK's policies under its internet-related service standards forbid licensors of its content to distribute said content if there is a possibility of creating a misconception that it is recommending or advertising a certain product or service. Netflix stated that it is continuing discussions with the network. Netflix launched its new advertisement-supported Basic with Ads subscription tier on November 3rd in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, Japan, Korea, Mexico, Brazil, Spain, France, Germany, Italy, and Australia. Netflix previously stated that a limited number of its content will not be available in this tier due to licensing issues, which it said it was working on. The new subscription tier has 4 to 5 minutes of advertisements per hour and a maximum of 720p resolution for content. Honestly, this does not sound like a buy for me. This sounds like something for, like, I don't know, if you babysit a kid every day, or you got kids just in general and you're gonna be, you know what I'm saying, putting on Netflix for them all day, maybe something like that. But for me, no, 720p is like 10 years in the past, if not more, especially on Netflix when they got up to 4K. No. With no downloading of content for later viewing. Yeah, what the hell is this? The ads play before and during content in 15 or 30-second lengths. Advertisers can target their ads by country and genre. Netflix stated in April it was considering adding an ad-supported streaming tier at a lower cost. Netflix made the announcement after stating it had a decrease of about 200,000 subscribers from January to March, far below the company's earlier projection of a gain of 2.5 million subscribers. This was the service's first drop in subscriptions in a decade. And also, Netflix announced in June that it was laying off 300 employees from its workforce. Hollywood Reporter stated that the layoffs constituted around 3% of the company's current workforce. Netflix laid off about 150 employees, mostly based in the United States, in May. So turbulent times for Netflix right now, because let's be real here, those 22 titles I'm sure are probably bringing in a lot of the anime base, because while definitely anime fans alike have embraced Netflix a lot more nowadays, it's not like Netflix is the complete hub. So much so in fact that I'd imagine that Netflix needs as much anime as they could possibly get, because they're trying to compete. They're still technically competing with a Crunchyroll when it comes to the new anime coming out. They're still technically competing with, well, I was going to say Funimation, but they're still competing in the anime arena. So I like the move that they're not letting off that, we signed a deal. We're not putting ads, to show some good faith with you guys that, okay, we won't put ads on these shows here or there, but we're still going to keep them up. We paid for these things. And yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the way this thing goes, and if other companies are going to stand up and be like, oh, wait a minute, we don't like this either. We're pulling our titles. Things could get real dicey and real tricky. And considering a lot of this is from the Japanese-based corporations, it kind of makes sense why, now that I'm looking at it, Crunchyroll, as it finally ballooned up to where it's at right now, and Sony buying them out and everything, that suddenly there's no more free viewing for Crunchyroll. Like, you can no longer just hop on Crunchyroll and watch stuff for free. Now you gotta get a paid subscription. There's no more ad-based stuff on Crunchyroll, and now Netflix is kind of having that battle with Japan because they don't want to endorse, let's just say Pizza Hut paid for an advertisement. They might not want Pizza Hut during their latest broadcast of, My Hero Academia or Dragon Ball, whatever the hell it is that NHK is broadcasting. They may not want that, even if it's on Netflix. Like, dog, we don't endorse that, and where's our cut of the money from these advertisements to begin with? So, yeah, I understand what their gripe is, but this is going to be big because, again, if it spouts up a whole bunch of other companies like, wait a minute, hold on, we're not endorsing this, we ain't getting paid from these ads, it could be problematic for Netflix and the anime industry as a whole, because Netflix is a key player as it stands in 2022 and moving forward. But yeah, NHK and Netflix need to work it out and get it together, because as 22 titles that, at least for the time being, is still streaming, but they're telling them take it down or give us a bigger bag, I'm sure is another option that they have there. Like, hey, cut us a big fat check and we'll shut the fuck up forever and you can enjoy your 22 titles. But Netflix is probably like, we already cut the check, we ain't cutting no more, sorry fam, you gotta go, but we're still keeping your anime. Hey. I will keep you guys up to date on this story as it develops, seeing if NHK backs off or what happens. But yeah, NHK and Netflix going at it over 22 titles due to Netflix unveiling their new ad-based subscription service, and this Japanese corporation don't like it, don't want it, and things is gonna get a little rocky moving forward, I'd imagine.